cat has just extracted this oak seedling from the allium bed where all the onions are. It was next to the onions. Look at that, there's an actual acorn down there. This is from the front of the original plot, the polytunnel plot as we call it, and was growing just over there in the bed where all the garlic is. It's I think it featured in a previous video. Yeah, it was there. Now there was an oak tree growing here, if you recall from earlier videos. So no doubt that oak has had an oak child, an oak orphan. I don't know what to do with this. We'll pop it in a pot, I reckon, but I don't really have a home for an oak tree. It is Wednesday, the 21st of May, about 6:30 p.m. Wednesday is a work from home day for people where I work, so it gives us a tiny little bit of extra time at the end of the day. You know, I'm here rather than getting back at 7:30. I'm more like 6:30, able to get some stuff done. Actually, it was a bit earlier than that. I finished up before 6, but I obviously had some other bits and pieces to do. But we've managed to squeeze a trip along to the plot, and tonight the plan is to make spanakopita. So we're going to harvest all of these leaves to make a nice big batch of spanakopita. The leaves in question are these spinaches, which are gone to seed. We're just going to strip off the bigger leaves from them. They should be okay still. And then over in that far corner, there is some chard that's bolting as well. So we're basically just going to strip off all the leaves and also in that process clear these beds. Ready for tomato, chili, and capsicum and eggplant sowing, which is a job that's happening this weekend, the long weekend, late May bank holiday weekend. It's coming up. So we'll crack on with clearing some leaves. And there we go. We have a fairly cleared polytunnel. We're leaving the garlic in for now, and the tomatoes, which these two central beds are mostly tomato, will be either side of the garlics, and we have some chilies, eggplants, and capsicums go in the side beds normally, with melons in the corners, is what we've done before. Nice big bag of chard there with some rocket on top that we saved. A little bit of volunteer green garlic. It was out of place. It must have been a gold bulb that somehow got in there from last year. I don't know. And what I could harvest off the spinach. It's not the best, the spinach. It's definitely quite buggy, whereas the chard didn't really have much by way of bugs on it. But yeah, that's a useful little Wednesday afternoon job. It's just gone past 8 p.m. The church bells ding-donged in the background. And of course, all of that good green stuff is now topping up our compost, our current active compost, which we've also put a couple of buckets of wood chip into, because we like to try and keep that mix right. Most years, this is probably the first year we've really sort of been able to make this proper effort with compost with some browns and greens in it, because we have this big stash of wood chip that we got over the winter. So whenever we get a big pile of greens in there, we throw some buckets of browns on top, basically. And our overwinter carrot experiment has yielded some fruit, or yielded some roots, I guess. Yeah, there's some okay carrots in there. It was a bit of an experiment. We weren't sure what we get out of it, but there we go. I mean, there's a few stir fries worth of carrots there, 3 or 4 maybe. So that's good. Anyway, that's us done for today, and we'll get home and try and process those harvests a bit. And they're not going to be for dinner. We don't really have time, given that it's 8 p.m. and I've got to be up early for work tomorrow. In fact, we're both going down Cambridge Way tomorrow, and off to Cambridge Beer Festival tomorrow evening, and then in Cambridge until Saturday. But, we'll be back for the weekend, and we'll get those tomatoes planted. That's the plan. Hello and welcome to the Underachievers Allotmenting channel. Not a lot else has happened around here since Wednesday, when we did that bit of polytunnel clearance and made these beds ready for our tomatoes. So normally, what we do in the middle here, we've got tomatoes here and tomatoes here. So 2 rows of tomatoes down each side of these beds. We have in the past interplanted some chilies in the middles, but this year we've got the garlic crops going, and I don't think they're ready for harvest anytime soon by the looks of it. So we're just going to let them continue to do a thing there with tomatoes down either sides. And the chilies, or probably mainly eggplants, capsicums and melons, will go down these skinny side beds on either side of the allotment here. Either side of the polytunnel is what I mean. And obviously we got garlics down the sides of them as well, but they'll just happily sit there behind the other plants until they're ready to harvest, because the other plants will go sort of in between, middle distance between the garlic and the edge there, which gives them plenty of vertical space, because these sides on this polytunnel got quite steeply, so they get plenty of vertical that way. And we have a string that we run along the top here that we can run strings down from, and you can see our blue and yellow strings over there. But yeah, so it's Sunday afternoon at the moment, and we have not been down here at all this weekend so far. We had our 2 nights down in Cambridge, and got back on Saturday, and we were pretty bushed. And it's not like we were even out late night partying. We were just sort of tired, middle-aged people. But we had a nice time in Cambridge, which was good. Had a nice day of rest on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I kind of got the bug that we really needed to clean the house. So yesterday, being Sunday, was clean the house day. And we made a good bit of progress on that. So that's good. I made a nice spanakopita, which was too late to have for dinner, but we had a nice spanakopita brunch today. And that was made with all the leaves that used to be all around me here. Well, as much as we thought was worth harvesting. So the spinaches that were right in front here were about a third of it, and the other 2/3 was all from the chard that was down in that corner there, which we pulled out on Wednesday. And we did eventually get round to it at least. And I don't know if I said it was Sunday or Monday earlier, but it's definitely Monday. It's Bank Holiday Monday, the late May Bank Holiday. So that's given us this extra little bit of leeway to get some things done. So what we have here are some very wilty looking tomatoes, some less wilty looking ones there. These ones seem to miss out on a bit of the watering. There's also some tomatillos there as well. But we'll try and work out what's going where. Like I said, it's always tomatoes in the middle. Tomatillos we actually normally grow outside. So we'll wait and see what we do with the tomatillos. I just picked them up because they were looking particularly sad. But I have a first job to do. We're struggling with our water management here. We do keep filling this IBC, but then we keep draining it. And it's slow to fill, and we haven't really had the time to get it sorted out. We will eventually have a water catching system built on this polytunnel, which will catch it into the blue tubs that you can see out there, and which will cross-fill into the bottom IBC here. And we'll have a solar pump that pumps it from the bottom IBC to the top IBC. And that'll be our rainwater harvesting system for this plot. And we'll have a similar sort of setup on the other plot probably. That all takes time and effort, and we've not done it yet. So this week, I popped onto Amazon and bought some filtering bits. We kind of take the advice to avoid chlorine effect on the soil biology to heart. So we try to do our best to never put the local sort of council tap water direct onto the plants or the beds. And we haven't done that for ages, actually. Yeah, except for a few select cases. We've almost always managed to get it out of the IBCs or the water butts, which we fill from the tap. However, it's been so dry for so long now, and even despite some really good rain we had recently, we could do with a lot more of it. We kind of having to revert to the hose. We haven't done it yet, but this is hopefully going to be the solution. I have dug out my random box of plumbing parts. Well, some of it, I've got a lot more plumbing parts than that in storage, but this is what was in the house. And I'm going to try and assemble a thing here. Now, this is a water meter. because it's quite important with these filters to get the right amount of water through them. And I prefer to actually go by cubic meters of water rather than just kind of like 6 months or whatever. I like to know how much water's gone through my filters. That's got this activated charcoal filter in it. It says chloroamine here, a reduction, but it'll also happily take out the chlorine as well. And that's kind of our main target, I guess. So I'm going to try sticking this together with a trusty roll of PTFE tape, and we'll see if we've got tap water running shortly. Okay, turning on the water. The tap's off, so this will go hiss if we've got some air leaks. We'll see. Making noises. Is it dripping anywhere? No? Huh. I can hear the water trickling along there. If you look carefully, you can see it sort of gradually pouring into the filter. A few bits of crap in there, but oh well. So there is air escaping somewhere because it is gradually filling up. But that's not too bad. It's clearly not pouring out. I'm waiting for a drip to start somewhere. So this is the other end of the hose here. And actually this tap here is off at the moment. So let's turn the tap on. Oh yep, that hose has just gone twitch on me. So that's looking good. Filter's filling up. I love this hose. It expands as the pressure builds up inside it. We inherited this hose with the new plot. But, okay, that's good. Good. Now, let's see if I can turn this on one-handed. Yep. Oh, that's actually mainly the pressure from the expanded hose coming out. And here we go. We have some water popping out. It's not going to be super high pressure because A, the water here is not super high pressure anyway. And B, I've got a hose from the polytunnel. I don't know if you can see down here, but it goes all the way down to the road down there. And then obviously that comes into this filter here, and then that comes into this long skinny hose. But that's going to be plenty good enough. So what we have here, in theory, is dechlorined water to keep our soil microbes happy, or if not happy, at least I'm going to be doing less soil microbe genocide. We'll see. Quite happy with that. And I don't see much. Oh, there's a tiny little leak under the tap there. Huh, I'm fairly impressed by that. And that's probably just the seal on the tap, I bet. But, cool. We have water. And we can see the meter is ticking over there. So I'll make a note of that number there. And I'll have to check up and remember what cubic meterage of water this filter is good for. But okay, and now it's time to get cracking with our tomatoes. And that's the polytunnel, all done up in its summer dressing with our nice blue and yellow plastic ties. We got these way back, pretty much the first year we used a polytunnel, so they've lasted pretty well, but they are starting to disintegrate a bit now, which leaves little flakes of plastic around the place. So yeah, there's another source of microplastics for you. I should probably use some sort of biodegradable twine, but that does tend to rot off in the soil. So we bury them in the standard sort of way below the plant, and that runs up to wires that I've got running over the top here, and that does a really good job. We can tension that just by drawing that knot there down, and that works well enough. It does a fine job, and gets some pretty big tomato plants stood up. So we've got tomatoes down both sides here. And same thing down this. And I will not try to go through the list of tomatoes that's planted here because it's extensive. We have quite a few plants. There's 12 on this side and 10 on that side. So 22 tomatoes are in. We could potentially squeeze another one in at the ends, but I think I might leave it at that. So down this side here, we have a Minnesota midget melon in the corner and in the other corner. And in the middle, we have a petit gris de reine. I think that's what it's called. Melon right there. And then there's a capsicum of some sort. Now, the problem I've made is I forgot to record, or I lost the record of which capsicum variety was which. So all I know is that's a Z4 capsicum. And there's another Z4 capsicum the other side of that melon. And then we've got Z 7, 8, and 9 eggplants in here, or aubergines, if you will. And again, we've got another 7, 8, and 9 aubergine in here. And these are some of my finest looking seedlings this year. Look at that, Z8 aubergine. So I know that 2 of them are long skinny varieties. I think I've got a white and a black, a Hansel F1 and a white knight or something. And I think the other one might just be a black beauty, but we don't know which is which. We'll find out. So they're all just there. That's our aubergine spot, our eggplant spot, and we have 3 more eggplants of the same set of 3 varieties, which will probably go in the home greenhouse. And there's some leftover seedlings here. That's our tomatillos going flowery up the back there, 2 of 2 varieties. This is our sea of padrons, and there's some other chilies and things in there as well, and some of the chilies are still left in the greenhouse at home. So yeah, in between the tomatoes, we've got little basil seedlings. I think it's a Neapolitan basil maybe, and a purple basil. Just interleaved them. And there's another different sort of basil over there. It might be cinnamon basil. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's basil sort of dotted around the place. And then over here, melons again, but this time we've got the petit gris on the ends and the Minnesota midget in the middle. So it's 3 of each with 3 down each side. Now these are again the capsicums or peppers, if you will, which again we don't know what they are till they fruit, and then we'll find out. And the middle here is actually a beaver dam, which is a type of chili, which we're growing in the hope that it will make a good gochu guru, dried Korean style chili is the plan for that. So obviously in the ends here we still have these celeries. They probably want to come out, and there's a couple of spots then there for chilies. As I said, I could potentially fit some more tomatoes in, but I think we need to start prioritizing space from chili, because as you may have noticed, there's none of our ridiculous number of chilies growing in here at the moment. So normally we do have some chilies down the middle, so that's where the garlic is right now. So there's a bit of a dilemma there. We'll work it out. But we do have right behind me the greenhouse we're building, and it will be built. It's getting there. But I think the celery will come out, and two chilies will go in there, and we'll get another pair of chilies down this end, on where that overgrown coriander is. It's just quite nice leaving that there, and we'll get a bit of a green seed harvest off that. So we've made no progress on the greenhouse. It's just been one of those weekends. That's a phrase I use too much, I think. It's always one of those weekends. But this is where a lot of our chilies are going to have to end up. And that's fine. I think it'll actually be a better home for the chilies once it's all good and going. Not a lot else going on down here. Cat's done a little bit more wood chip fettling, I think. As you can see, the ground's looking a bit wet, which is great. We've had some rain. I wish we had a lot more. I mean, this is still pretty dry down here, but it's good to see some more moisture getting into the soil after such a long dry spell. Everything's going gangbusters down here. I can't remember if I covered this in the little bit of video I did on a Wednesday when we cleared the polytunnel. These kohlrabies are a raging success by the looks of it. There's some peas hiding under it. The winter density lettuce are just taking over. We actually just need to harvest some of them off entirely, I reckon. The cabbages are a bit of a fail. They're growing flowers now, but oh well. and we've got some raw beans coming along, so that's exciting. And I do think I covered a bit of this on Wednesday, so I'm probably repeating myself. And I think we're just pack up, go home time now anyway. It's just sort of, what was it, 7:45. We started, when I first did this, the first video today was about 3:45 p.m. So we've been at this for 4 hours. Now, see all this churned up earth here? That is a critter. And over the other side too. And I'm not quite sure, it's actually getting to be quite a problem. They're disturbing plants. They're in both these raised beds. I think they're in that one as well. They seem to stay away from the garlic, but that's probably because they don't like the scent of garlic. We don't know if it's a mole or a vole or some other critter. And to be honest, I am wondering about getting quite nasty on their little furry butts. But we'll see. But yes, that's the big change today. We are all systems go for summer crops, pretty much. A bit more work to do with this. These boards need to come out. There's a future home for them, but that's just not sorted out yet. But we're pretty good. And the watering system works fantastically. So that was a big win, just being able to water with the hose without worrying about pumping the soil full of chlorine. So happy days. And with that, I shall sign off and hopefully get this video edited before next weekend.